Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the July 20th, 2026 Board of Education meeting. We are calling the meeting to order at 7:05 PM. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A reading of meeting notice. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of the Act, the Verona Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published in the Star Ledger online and can also be viewed by the public on the Board of Ed's official website. Legal notices for New Jersey's public entities will also be accessible at the New Jersey Department of State's legal notice website. Copies of tonight's agenda and resolutions have been made available to the public via the Board of Education website. Dr. Riley, if you could please call attendance.
Ms. Kenotic. Mrs. Frisco.
Here.
Mr. Verona.
Here.
Mr. Boone. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Moving on to our routine matters, I need a motion to approve our meeting minutes from our meeting of June 22nd, 2026. Motion by
So moved.
Ms. Snodick, seconded by Mr. Boone. Are there any discussions? Dr. Riley, if you could please call roll.
Ms. Kenotic.
Yes.
Mrs. Frisco.
Yes,
Mr. Verona.
Yes.
And Mr. Boone.
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you. Moving on to our superintendent's report, but by Ms. Diane DiGiuseppe.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm waiting for presentation. Very quick. So, excuse me. Tonight is the statutory presentation of the graduation, the Verona High School graduation results. So, sorry. Thank you. So no fewer, a student graduating from high school in New Jersey has to meet credit requirement of 120. Our policy in Verona pushes that to 130. They are specific in specific areas from English, math, laboratory science, social studies, financial literacy, health and PE, visual and performing arts, world language, and 21st century life and careers and technology. So in order to do that, you have to have those credits plus a passing score on the state test, which is the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment, or the NJGPA, or a competency assessment, and I have a list of those. I was click on it, but I'm not going to because I can't with this. So the requirements for tonight's presentation is I have to tell the board how many students graduated, how many graduated under the substitute competency test process, the number of students that graduated under the portfolio appeals process, so those students that didn't pass either the statutory test or the substitute competency test and had to submit a portfolio demonstrating competency, the number of students receiving state-endorsed high school diplomas as a result of meeting any alternate requirements as specified in an individualized education program and an IEP, the total number of students denied graduation from the 12th grade class, and the number of students denied graduation solely because of failure to pass an end of course test, alternate competency test, or the portfolio appeals. So the number of students read that from here. The number of students that graduated were 159. That was 154 Verona High School graduates and 5 students that were placed out of district placements. The number of students that graduated under the substitute competency test is 18. That is down from last year significantly. We were about 18% last year. The number of students graduated under the portfolio appeals process is 12. That was 28 last year, so also significantly down. the number of students receiving a state-endorsed high school diploma as a result of meeting an alternative requirement specified in their IEP. There were 6, 1 VHS graduate and 5 out-of-district graduates. The number of students denied graduation from the 12th grade class is 1, and that is a student that did not meet graduation requirements based on attendance, although I believe that student will be graduating in August. The number of students denied graduation due to failure to pass any of those tests, no one. Okay, sorry, I can't see that from here, so I had to bring it up on my screen. So the specific course requirements and course subject areas, you need 15 credits of math, 15 credits of science, and that has to be laboratory science, 15 credits of social studies with specific courses, 2.5 credits in financial, economic, business, or literacy of some kind, 15 credits over 4 years of health, safety, and physical education, 5 credits in both world languages and visual and performing arts, technology and 21st century, technology is integrated, and 21st century life and career is a 5-credit requirement. So I'm going to post this to the district website if anyone's interested in what these cut scores are. I'm not going to go through them. There's lengthy when you get into the cut scores for all the competency, second pathway competency tests. So I will post this to the district website. And there's some other information about the portfolio appeal process in both math and English language arts. So that is the presentation. We can go back to, you can take that down if you can, thank you. And the rest of my report. Just a reminder that a lot's happening in the school district over the summer. This summer, actually, I think its central office is busier in the summer than it is during the regular school year. In addition to what you would expect, which are cleaning and scrubbing and locker maintenance, etc. Dr. Riley is closing out the financials, preparing for the district audit. We are doing lots of different reports. We are writing curriculum. We are preparing to open lots of boxes of supplies and materials and make sure they get the designated people at the different buildings, and preparing our classrooms for next year in addition to staffing. With regard to staffing, we are almost completely staffed. We have 1 staff member left and that's the kindergarten that we added at FM Brown that we are in the process of interviewing. Dr. Lanzo we got a huge response to that ad. We had over 100 candidates, so there's a lot for him to go through. We are in that process right now, and we are also hiring a good number of paraprofessionals, which will reduce our reliance on the agency paras, which are quite costly. 2 years ago, if you recall, we revised our student attendance policy due to some concerns over chronic absenteeism. Last year, we spoke about it at the 1-year anniversary of that policy change, and while we didn't see rates drop significantly as a result of the policy, we didn't see anything rise. This year, we did see a big jump in chronic absenteeism, specifically at Verona High School, so we are revisiting the policy. One of the policies for first reading tonight is the student attendance policy, and it's unique because most districts don't have the wording that we had in our policy. Most districts don't allow a parent to call in. And once you call your child in, it's automatically considered an excused absence. That's not what happens in most districts. I know, most districts, there's only 7 categories of excused absence according to the state, and those are the state-sanctioned jury duty for students above 18. Take your child to work day if you have to go to court. If you are a junior or senior, you get 3 college visits that are excused. Other than that, nothing is excused. We put into our policy many, many years ago that if a parent calls a child in, it's excused.
Though exactly, because I mean, listen, I have a son who had a fair share of absences at Verona High School. And the only time those were officially excused, as far as I knew, were when I had a note, like I had a note to submit. Otherwise, it kind of like counted towards the, you know, the limit that one could have to maybe not have credit for a particular class.
Yeah, yes, the high school was the only school that was enforcing the idea, because high school is the only seat time requirement. So it's not like that K-8. But when we put the attendance policy out to parents in my back to school newsletter 2 years ago, people read it, which is a good thing. And they said, oh, I guess we can call our kids in and it's excused. Last year, 2 years ago, we revised it to say the student's illness supported by written notification to the school by the student's parents extended or chronic absences may require a physician certificate. So what it reads now for tonight's approval on first reading is the student's illness supported by written notification to the school by the student's parents for up to 4 absences per school year. Illness absences in excess of 4 per school year and any illness absence of 3 or more consecutive school days shall be excused only upon written certification from a physician or other licensed healthcare provider, stating the dates of the absence and that the student was unable to attend school, submitted to the principal or designee within 3 school days of the student's return. A parent's telephone call or written note shall satisfy the notification requirement of this regulation, but not by itself excuse such absences. Those absences shall be recorded as unexcused and count toward truancy. Now, there is an attendance review committee in each school that will go over that if a student is approaching a point where they're going to lose credit. But one of the problems that we added an additional section because we noticed, looking at the high school specifically, we had students that had 39, 42 days out, and more than half of them were school-sponsored events, athletics, performances, field trips. So we are our own worst enemy when it comes to that. So we did change our field trip policy as well, and we added school-sponsored activities during the school day. A section, I'm not going to read it out loud, it's on our website. Anyone that's interested can read it. But we don't want students to miss more than 5 sessions as a result of school-sponsored outside activities. Chronic absenteeism, is really can be a big problem when you're missing direct instruction, you're missing guided practice, you're missing classroom discussions with your classmates. Missing feedback from your teacher. Those can create gaps in foundational knowledge and make it difficult to keep pace. So we're really trying to get people to come to school.
Coming on the heels of what Ms. Knodig had to say, I have multiple questions on this, in no particular order. Number one is, as this coming regulation is going to show, beyond having it in the parents' newsletter, how much are we, or how hard are we going to lean into the communication of this? Because I think with the preponderance of people in club sports, I think being a parent in that situation myself, I'm going to see I would expect to see a lot of that. And how hard, or what do we have in place to make sure that there are, quote unquote, no surprises in the community?
I will do my best to put it out via Aptigee, our communication app. Principals will also put it out at the beginning of the school year and they can remind at back to school night, for those people that attend. Are there going to be people that don't read it and be surprised? Yes.
Yeah, that's the reality. And
It's the reality.
And you pointed to how Verona's regulation here is, or Verona's approach to it, I should say, is unique to maybe some of the other schools in our area. And talking to other professionals that work in surrounding school districts around Essex County, they've also mentioned the chronic problem, the epidemic problem, or endemic problem that their schools have. And the frustrations that I hear from these other professionals is that it's a bit of a paper tiger in terms of the school's approach. How are we going to hold people accountable, shall we say, on this? I mean, how,
The problem is actually at the high school. So when you take that excused absence out of the picture, students will have a greater risk of losing credit in classes, especially when you have a rotating drop block. If you're out in the morning a lot, so if you're out, you're late comer to school, you're missing that block one, which changes every day. So you're accruing absences across multiple coursework rather than just the first period class if it was a traditional schedule. So that would be one of the biggest deterrents if I were a parent or if I were a child to come to school, because I don't want to have to take summer school.
I can attest to this. Maybe I'm being a little too honest about this, but it is actually a very effective deterrent, because at a certain point we do get notifications when you're sort of reaching or nearing the limit. You get sort of like a note that gets sent.
It's automatic.
And it's automatic, and it gets sent to you, letting you know, hey, you are like this many away from potentially losing credit for the class, and that is like, that does put the fear in one, to try to ensure that if your kid is going to be out, that you have proper documentation to support the reasoning behind that, and to help to kind of prevent it from escalating to a situation where you could lose credits. I would tend to say that it's very clear when things are running afoul at the high school that is happening, at least from the notification side of things.
We do have to communicate with parents that they actually have to physically go into the parent portal to see those letters, though. It's not like they come through US mail. They come to you through Genesis. So if you're not actively going into the portal to look at grades, you may not see that.
and they're probably not necessarily signed up for notifications either.
But you get an email.
You get an email.
Yeah, like
Regardless
it's
of
an
your-
email, regardless. Like
You're
get an
automatically
email.
out
Like,
there.
you get an email as a parent that says the things that are that are going wrong with regard to attendance. But like I've not seen, but it's a good point that it's at the lower levels. It's obviously apparently not as big of an issue at the middle school and the elementary schools with regard to this. Because I don't ever see. I've never seen communications really around
Well,
that.
that's because until I started here 3 years ago, after my first year, because I didn't realize letters weren't going out, elementary was not sending letters for absences. They do have a form letter now, and they're sending it not through Genesis, because until next year they weren't using Genesis. So next year it'll be consistent across, because we're actually putting classes in Genesis for elementary.
Oh, so all schools will be subject to this standard.
Yeah.
All schools.
Yes.
Okay.
And HPW does send out the automatic letters.
Yeah. So the front office is going to have to be ready, because I envision. I mean, you just get. It would be very easy to get past that four absences.
Yeah, and that's going to be high school only, because there's no requirement for credit at K-8. So, but there is a requirement for promotion, right? We don't have to promote kids that are failing. Yeah. So last couple of things, we are in the process of writing the consolidated Every Student Succeeds Act grant, which we talked about earlier. We did get our entitlements, and we did not receive Title I, even so my appeal was officially denied. But we did receive similar amounts in Title IIA, Title III, and Title IVA, so it's about $35,000 that can be used toward professional development. And that grant is due on July 31st. I'm in the process of writing it. Another end-of-year report that I just submitted tonight actually is the educator evaluation information system for the evaluation system. That it's a two-part report, one in the summer where we upload preliminary educator evaluation scores, and then we have to complete a required annual evaluation survey And then in the fall, when students get their, when teachers get their student score, percentile scores, we have to go back in and upload those for those teachers. Now, we did find out today that, I know we're all going to be shocked, that the state test scores are held up. They're not going to be coming out anytime soon. I'm sorry, that was a little snotty.
For Title I, what was it last year? Like, what's the gap again?
61,000.
Yeah.
And we also just completed the school registry summary, which is what really brought my attention to the attendance, because that's an attendance report. It's a student attendance report. And we are in the process, so that's finished. We're in the process of submitting the student safety data system for report 2. And once we get that, I have to do that report to the board as well. That's my report for this evening. Thank you.
I'm sorry to belabor this. I do have a couple other questions outside of the student attendance issue, and they're both touched on things that you mentioned. The paraprofessionals benefit that you mentioned. I just happened before this meeting to be looking on bills, and we paid a significant amount in fill-in through a staffing agency. Do we have a sense of how much this would save us as a district?
Dr. Riley might. I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but lots of money.
By comparison, it's about, depending on the placement and the timing and whatnot, it's about a $12 to $15 per hour difference.
Okay, that's not nothing.
It's significant.
It's not nothing. I think the other thing that we'll be talking about with the VEA leadership is how do we get control over staff absences? Because that's another huge piece of our budget. We are spending a tremendous amount of money on class coverages and substitute. Our substitute budget's huge. So think about creative ways to reward people for perfect attendance or closer to perfect attendance.
And another question that I had, and maybe, forgive me, maybe this could go under correspondence, but I did have a person in the, a parent in my neighborhood asked me this question about the letters that went out asking if people wanted to move about with their elementary.
Kindergarten.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry, more specifically the kindergarten. Is there, what wasn't understood, and I couldn't really articulate a proper answer, is what is their deadline, and at what point, if we get, maybe the better way for me to ask this is, at what point are people locked in if they, say, move to town August 3rd?
If they register, that's a great question. Our policy states that if they register after February 1st, they go to the school that has the least amount. If the class size is at 25 or greater in their home school, we would place them in another school. So anytime after February 1st. So if somebody moves to town in August and there's 26 students, 25 students in a class, say at Forest, they're going to go to a class somewhere. We're going to offer them a class in a different school. We try to make sure that we can, if there's multiple siblings, we can get them all into that school. That's not always possible. We do try our best to keep students together. But when we are running class sizes the way we're running in elementary right now, it's really tough.
And what's our response been on this mailer that went out?
Three. We like our neighborhood schools here. Big
Yeah.
class size or not.
Interesting, thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to our business administrator's report, Dr. James Riley.
I do not have a report for tonight.
Thank you. There are no committee reports, so now we are moving on to public comments on any agenda action items that we are voting on. If you have anything to talk about, please come to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes. Please state your name. Again, this is on action items only. Hello.
Hi, Denise Verona, Verona, New Jersey. I just wanted to talk about action item 10, which is the acceptance of the resignation of a board member. I do hope everyone votes no, because I don't want Mr. Walker to leave. I know he's not here, so I do hope that it gets back to him. I'm sure he's watching. I just wanted to thank him for his service throughout the years. I met Chris prior to both of us being on the board during the whole COVID thing. And when I was talking about running, he encouraged me to run, and he was very supportive of me, both as a candidate and as a board member, and then eventually as when I was holding the seat of president. He was probably the person I've argued with the most at board meetings, because we both hold very passionately opposing viewpoints on some things. But he was always respectful and kind and listened, and I appreciated that about him, and do appreciate it. He's still around. I also appreciate that he speaks his mind in a world where sometimes not everyone does, and that is a good thing. I think if more people spoke their mind, that things might get done a little bit quicker. So he will be missed, but we will see him around, I'm sure. And my only other comment was about the attendance policy. I think we do need to get a handle on it. My concern is there is I want to say, self-selected group of students that are very involved in high school clubs and activities. I'm thinking student council, Heroes and Cool Kids, music programs that may, for whatever reason, I mean, Heroes and Cool Kids goes down to the middle school multiple times a year. Student council has events off campus, and these type of events are service events and give back to our community, both in Verona and wider. And it would be a shame for students not to want to participate in these events if they're afraid that now their attendance could potentially put a hurdle in front of their graduation or credit for classes. So perhaps there can be some sort of, I don't want to say carve out because that sounds like an exception or a loophole, but some
There is,
sort of.
though. There
Okay,
is, yeah.
okay.
I mean, I didn't read it out loud.
Okay,
but
okay. I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure that that kids that do participate in these types of programs, 'cause I'm reading it on my phone. And
It just needs approval from the principal.
Okay, perfect. Then that seems like that would not be an issue. And thank you all for coming out on the summer.
Thank
Good
you.
day.
And on that.
Thank you, Ms. Frizella.
And that might be more of a fine point, but principal approval, is this going to be done pre-event?
The way we wrote, now, of course, the board has to approve the
Right.
policy the way it's written, but the way we wrote the policy is notwithstanding one above, which refers to limiting the number of absences. Students may miss no more than 5 sessions of any one class per year due to participation in school-sponsored activities. Participation beyond this limit requires the prior written approval of the principal or designee in consultation with the affected teachers. So they would just have to, I mean, none of those activities are pop-ups, right? They're all planned ahead, so.
Right.
students will
No
know.
surprise, again, back to the no surprise stuff.
Thank you. Moving on, any discussion items, new or old business? What am I, the resolution to accept, okay. So for new business, resolution to accept the resignation of the board member, whereas Christopher Waka, a duly elected member of the Board of Education of the Verona Public School District, has submitted a formal written notice of resignation from the Board of Education effective immediately, and whereas the Board of Education wishes to formally acknowledge Christopher Waka's service and dedication to the students, staff, and community of the Verona Public School District. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby accepts the resignation of Christopher Waka with regret and express its sincere appreciation of his valuable contributions and commitment during his tenure on the board.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Waka will be missed. Anything on for correspondence?
No.
Okay. Moving on to our agenda, for our resolutions, I need a motion to approve our personnel resolutions from A1 through A10.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Boone, seconded by,
Second.
by Ms. Kenotic. Are there any discussions?
Quick question. On A4, the paraprofessional resignations, is that due to the decision to shift away from the contracted paraprofessionals to, or can you maybe explain a little bit around sort of what accounts for these?
I believe one is a move out of state, and several of them are people that are getting teaching positions. Not with us, but they're
And that's-
moving on.
If I remember from past years, that's not I mean, that's
Yeah,
not,
it's-
that's not any different
No,
than usual.
it's a high turnover of
Is it?
paras
Is
here.
it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was part of my question. Is this normal? Because it seemed like a lot.
So the salary is not competitive here for paras.
Mhm.
Very not competitive. We actually, the board, after the last negotiations, put $96,000 into the para guide to try to bring it up to $20 an hour. Because you can make more at McDonald's. You could have made more at McDonald's 2 years ago.
I just, for some reason, I mean, not being argumentative, that I thought we had a pretty much a significant, or a typical turnover over the course of a year that we've had that many.
We have a significant para turnover all year long.
Yeah, well, I think that's the point I'm
Yes,
trying to make,
yes,
yeah.
all year long.
So what it would be, I guess, this potential solution to that? I mean, are we going to have trouble bringing in paras for for the next school year? Or
We are getting a tremendous amount of response to our paraprofessional ads right now because West Orange just outsourced all of their paras. So our paras we are not competitive salary-wise, and we don't pay them benefits because they're not full-time. So those two things combined made it hard for us to recruit paras, which is why we went to an agency. However, some of the surrounding districts just laid off all of their paras, much larger districts. So we did, you'll see last two agendas and this agenda. There's maybe none on this agenda where we're approving paras for new hires.
And are there two types of paras from a compensation perspective?
There are in some districts, yes, we have paraprofessionals and we have registered behavioral technicians. So those are paras that are specific. They are full-time and they do receive benefits. They are specific data. They take data on some of our students are more significantly disabled students, and they analyze the data and work with the teacher in that way. Some districts have other types of paras that two different tiers. Livingston, for instance, has two different tiers of paras. They have a para that is a one-on-one para that are paid on a different guide than a shared para that's with 2 or 3 students at a time. But we don't, other than the registered behavioral technicians, all of our paras are in the same tier.
Thank you. And just one other quick question on A6. I noticed that we approved the salary and then rescinded and then revised. So what I guess what accounts for that the initial overcalculation?
I don't remember how the error came about. Dr. Riley, do you remember how this error came about?
There was a typo.
Okay.
There was a typo in the formula that was used to calculate certain,
In the technology.
certain salaries.
Okay, thank you. I forgot
Great,
what
thank
it
you.
was.
Dr. Riley, could you please call roll?
Ms. Kenotic?
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco?
Yes.
Mr. Perna?
Yes.
Mr. Boone?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to our education, need a motion to approve, we're tabling B2 and B3, so do I have to do a motion to table those
Yes.
two first?
Yes.
So I need a motion to table B2 and B3.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Perna, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Kenotic. Any discussion? Dr. Riley, if you could please call roll on
Ms.
that.
Kenotic?
Yes.
Mr. Perna?
Yes.
Mr. Boone?
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco?
Yes. Thank you. So moving on to B1, then B4 through B, be 16. Motion by
So moved.
I'll
Mr.
second.
Mr. Perna, seconded by Mr. Boone. Are there any discussions?
B15, sorry. It looks like there's some extremely small enrollments.
Yes.
So I guess the question is, at what point do we determine that it's kind of not, viable, economically to proceed with classes given extremely low enrollment? I think here's like 2 or so.
So that course, so it's on here because our policy says it has to be on here. It's actually not an individual course. That course actually is, Madame will teach these 2 students with French 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a full class.
Okay.
It's just that she's doing double duty with those 2 students.
And the
Gotcha.
super classes are kind of a different animal in terms of the enrollment numbers, right?
Yeah, and this was a drop at the end of the school year. That had 16 kids in it at first, and we're not sure what's going on, but we're trying to pull other. We have some students that are not registered for all of the electives they need, so we're going to try to pull them into that course. And the rest of them, like history and the Hollywood cinema, that's a second semester, so that will get larger.
And the super ones are they through Montclair or are they through
they're
Syracuse?
Syracuse.
Yes.
Yeah, they're dual enrollment. And the APs are traditionally small.
Dr. Riley, if you could please call roll.
Ms. Kenotic,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes,
Mr. Boone.
I'm sorry.
we did a motion, right?
We
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
we did a
I'm
motion.
I
Sorry.
I have a first and a second. Mr. Perna,
Yes.
Mr. Boone.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to athletics and co-curricular, I need a motion to approve resolutions C1 through C5. Motion by
So moved.
Mr. Perna,
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Kenotic. Are there any discussions? Dr. Riley, if you could please call roll.
Ms. Kenotic,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes.
Mr. Perna,
Yes.
Mr. Boone.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to our facilities, I have a motion, need a motion to approve resolutions D1 through D3.
So
Motion
moved.
by Ms. Kenotic, seconded by
Second?
Mr. Perna. Are there any discussions? Dr. Riley, if you could please call roll.
Ms. Kenotic,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes,
Mr. Perna,
Yes.
Mr. Boone.
Yes. Yes. Excuse me.
thank you. Moving on to finance, I need a motion to approve resolutions E1 all the way through E14. Motion by
So moved?
Mr. Perna, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Kenotic. Are there any discussions?
Sorry, I lost my spot here. Xaid? We got a number?
We did.
Number.
How do we feel about the number?
We're very happy about it.
Just, we feel very good about the number.
Okay.
We feel even better about the number given what was budgeted.
Yeah.
Right, so whereas we left off last year, or we entered last year, in effect, in a deficit when it came to XAID, we are now in a considerable surplus for XAID because of the way we budgeted. I will caution, however, and say that the reimbursement amount was only 44% of what was applied for. So that number, that percentage, where I was hopeful that the state would make a better commitment to districts and reimbursing for extraordinary special education expenses, that is not the case. But because we have, and we uncovered every possible expense that could be attributed, we were successful in increasing the amount year over year.
Can you remind us what the
What
number,
was it?
like what we budgeted for, and then what the difference was?
So last year,
Yeah.
we budgeted 1.2 million and we received 900,000.
Okay.
This year we budgeted 700,000 and we received over $1 million.
Okay.
Nice. Great.
Definitely good
It
news.
would be better if we got the whole
I know.
amount, but
Dr. Riley, if you could please call roll.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco?
Yes,
Mr. Kerner?
Yes.
Mr. Boone?
Yes.
thank you. Moving on to governance and policy, I need a motion to approve resolutions F1. Motion by. or
This is,
F1?
and just to be clear, this is first reading.
First reading, yes.
Yeah.
So moved.
I'll
Motion
second.
by Ms. Kenotic, seconded by Mr. Boone. Are there any discussions? Dr. Wiley, if you could please call a roll.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco?
Yes,
Mr. Kerner?
Yes.
Mr. Boone?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
thank you. Moving on to public comments on anything. If you have anything you would like to state, please state your name, and you have 3 minutes. Seeing none. Our next public scheduled meeting will be held on Tuesday, August 25th, beginning with confidential session at 6 PM and public session at 7 PM in the Verona High School Learning Commons. I need a motion to adjourn.
So
So-
moved.
Motion by Mr. Boone, seconded
Second.
by Mr. Perna. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. It is 7:46